Okay, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something pretty fascinating.
Sounds good.
It's this Japanese term, kute-yokyo,
Kute-yokyu.
which roughly translates to, like, affirmation need.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at some writing from Teru Nakashima,
All right.
who leads a self-affirmation academy, so he's got a lot of experience with this.
Cool.
Are you ready to kind of unpack this idea a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. So affirmation need. I'm curious to see how this goes beyond like self-actualization.
Yeah, that's actually kind of where I wanted to go with this, because I feel like we all know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you kind of climb that pyramid,
Right.
and I get to the top, and I'm like, self-actualization. All right, what's next?
Like, is that it? Yeah, you think you've reached the peak.
Yeah.
Then you realize maybe there's something beyond that.
Is that what Nakashima is saying?
He's basically saying that, yeah, you reach your full potential, you're doing all the things that you want to do,
Right.
but that's not the end. There's this deeper thing, this affirmation need.
Okay.
And it's not just about getting approval from other people, which we often think about.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all want to be liked, right? We want validation from others.
For sure.
Is he saying that there's a distinction between that and true self-affirmation?
That's exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
Because external validation, it can be fleeting. You get a compliment and you feel good for a little bit.
Yeah.
Someone criticizes you and you feel bad.
Makes sense.
But Nakashima's saying true fulfillment comes from within.
So it's not about needing somebody to say, like, hey, you're great, you're awesome.
Right.
It's like knowing that yourself deep down.
Yeah, you're owning that for yourself regardless of what other people think.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. But, I mean, how does this actually impact how we live our lives?
Well, if your sense of worth is dependent on other people all the time,
Okay.
then you're always at the mercy of what they think.
Right.
It's kind of like you're building your house on shaky ground.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, you get hit by a little wind and the whole thing is going to topple over.
Right.
But if you have that self-affirmation, then you can handle those hard times. You can weather the storm.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I'm thinking about a time when I took a pretty big professional risk.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't exactly pan out the way that I wanted it to.
Oh, no.
And I was so focused on what everyone else thought about it.
Yeah.
And, I was letting all of their doubts really shake me.
Right.
And I think if I had had that solid foundation of self-affirmation, I probably would have handled the whole thing a lot differently.
And that's exactly what Nakashima talking about when he says this Jiko Judo, this deep self-acceptance is essential.
Okay, Jiko.
Yeah.
So basically, like, without that, you're just going to constantly be affected by other people's opinions of you.
Exactly. You're not making decisions for yourself.
Right. You're kind of like being blown around in the wind.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about those negative thoughts?
Oh, yeah, the I'm not good enough or, I'm not smart enough or whatever.
All of that. Yeah, he's saying those aren't inherent.
That's the fascinating part. He says we're not born with those.
Wow.
They're learned through our interactions and our experiences.
So basically, we're conditioned to doubt ourselves.
Yeah. It's almost like we pick it up as we go along.
Okay, so if we've internalized this stuff for years, how do we reclaim that self-affirmation? Like, where do you even begin?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
I don't know if there's a one-size-fits-all answer, but Nakashima says we have to identify those negative beliefs.
Okay.
Challenge them.
Yeah.
See if they're actually true.
Right.
And start replacing them with positive ones. It's kind of like looking in the mirror and being like, this is me.
This is me.
And I'm enough.
And I'm enough. That's like a declaration of independence from self-doubt.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. It's not just like a one-time thing.
Oh, so it's ongoing.
Yeah, you're practicing self-compassion.
Okay.
You're recognizing your strengths.
Gotcha.
And celebrating yourself for who you are.
So it's not about being perfect.
No, not at all.
It's about embracing everything.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The imperfections, the whole 9 yards.
All of it.
So to everyone listening, think about what this means for you. Like, what does it actually look like to embody this affirmation need? What steps can you take to cultivate this sense of self-acceptance?
Yeah, it's starting today.
Right? Like, what can you do? Maybe it's challenging those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe it's setting boundaries. Maybe it's celebrating even those small wins that you have.
All good things to consider.
Keep exploring this idea. I think there's a whole lot of freedom waiting for you on the other side of self-affirmation.
I think so too. It's worth the journey.
It is.